Title: The Interpretation of the Scriptures. Text: Luke 24:27. And beginning at Moses and all the prophets, he expounded unto them in all the Scriptures the things concerning himself. Introduction. The Scriptures are not a collection of disconnected writings, nor are they merely historical records or moral instructions. They are a unified revelation, one unfolding story with a central focus. When rightly understood, every part points toward fulfillment, while completion, and clarity in what has already been accomplished. Many struggle with interpretation because they approach the text through fragmented lenses, pulling verses out of their context, projecting future expectations backward, or failing to see the continuity of God's revealed purpose. But when the Scriptures are interpreted as a whole, they testify with one voice. The Scriptures testify of a person. From the beginning, the writings are not primarily about human effort, but about divine accomplishment. The law reveals patterns and shadows. The prophets declare promises and expectations. The writings express longing and anticipation. Yet all of these find their meaning in one central reality: fulfillment. When Jesus walked with the disciples on the road, he did not introduce something new. He revealed what had always been there. The issue was not the absence of truth, but the lack of understanding. Right interpretation recognizes that the Scriptures are centered on him, not on us. The importance of context and fulfillment. A major key to understanding the Scriptures is recognizing when and to whom things were spoken. Promises given to Israel must be understood within their covenantal setting. Warnings and expectations were tied to specific generations and unfolding events. Prophetic language often used imagery familiar to its original audience. When these things are ignored, interpretation becomes distorted, leading to confusion, fear, or misplaced expectation. But when we read the Scriptures through the lens of fulfillment, what was promised is seen as accomplished. What was anticipated is seen as realized. What was partial is seen as complete. Interpretation must move from promise to fulfillment, not remain stuck in expectation. 3. The transition from shadow to reality. The Scriptures contain many types, symbols, and shadows, sacrifices that pointed beyond themselves, a temple that represented something greater, a priesthood that anticipated a final mediator. These were never the end, they were signposts. To interpret them correctly is to see their purpose. They were temporary, preparatory, and pointing forward to completion. Remaining in the shadows after the reality has come leads to misunderstanding. Right interpretation recognizes the transition from what was symbolic to what is fulfilled. 4. The role of the Spirit in understanding. Understanding the Scriptures is not merely an intellectual exercise. It requires illumination. The same Spirit who inspired the writings now opens the eyes of the reader, not to create new meanings, but to reveal what has already been established. He brings clarity, not confusion. He reveals completion, not uncertainty. He anchors understanding in what is finished, not in what is pending. Without this illumination, people may read the Scriptures but fail to see their unity and purpose. The interpreting with a completed perspective. A key to proper interpretation is recognizing that we are not standing at the beginning of the story, we are standing at its realization. This changes how we read. We do not read prophecy as something awaiting fulfillment, but as something fulfilled. We do not read warnings as looming threats, but as events that had their proper place in time. We do not read promises as distant hopes, but as present realities. This does not diminish the Scriptures, it brings them into clarity. Interpretation shifts from anticipation to understanding. Avoiding common errors. 1. Projecting everything into the future. This keeps the reader in a constant state of expectation and uncertainty. 2. Ignoring original audience and context. This leads to misapplication and confusion. 3. Separating the Scriptures from their central theme. This turns the Bible into disconnected ideas instead of a unified message. 4. Focusing on human effort instead of divine accomplishment. This reverses the emphasis of the entire narrative. Conclusion. The interpretation of the Scriptures is not about discovering hidden meanings or unlocking secret codes. It is about seeing clearly what has already been revealed and accomplished. When the Scriptures are rightly understood, they bring rest instead of striving, clarity instead of confusion, confidence instead of fear. The same scriptures that once seemed complex and scattered become unified and clear when viewed through the lens of fulfillment. And beginning at Moses and all the prophets, he expounded unto them the things concerning himself. May our understanding be opened, not to chase what is ahead, but to see what has already been made complete.